Hey everybody! Welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video. As you can see by the title of the video, we're talking about Electrum Cosmetics. We have the Daydreamer 6-pan highlighter palette, and we also have the Sea Witch, which is a eyeshadow palette. If you guys like unfiltered makeup opinions and honest reviews, subscribe. Let's get into this video. Let's talk about Electrum Cosmetics. Electrum Cosmetics. Like I said, I just did a video on that brand. It was just some of her single shadows, but she did do a restock of the Daydreamer palette. It sold out within hours when it was first launched way back at the beginning of June or the end of May, something around in there. Quite a while ago, but she's done a couple of restocks since then. And it is a 6-pan like multi-chrome and duochrome highlighter palette called the Daydreamer palette. I just received mine. Initially, I had ordered this one and I was one of the first round to order the Daydreamer, but because I had ordered the Sea Witch with it and the Sea Witch was a pre-order, these shipped at the same time as the pre-order. So the Daydreamer palette, this is a 6-pan highlighter palette. It has 4 duochromes, 2 multi-chromes in here. Mine did come a little bit damaged, but I did repress them. Very easy to repress. I just put a little bit of alcohol in there and literally just stamped it with something flat. And I was able to get them repressed into the pans. They are magnetic pans as well, so you can remove them. And I do know that if they do come damaged at all, the brand will resend you any of the shades that were damaged. So mine are actually on the way, but I wanted to make this video for you anyway because I'm excited. I have done a couple of swatches of this. I did use one of the highlights yesterday, which was this one. It's called Manifest, and I used it in my makeup yesterday. I'm ready to try more of these highlights. I do have my base on for today. I have my blush, my bronzer. We're gonna put on the highlighter, because I love highlight. And really, I want to put on this one. It's called Daydreamer. This is what this palette is all about, is Daydreamer, and it's just very flighty. It reminds me of clouds, iridescence, and just flying in the clouds. And this is one of the multi-chrome highlights. That's gorgeous. And let's just keep in mind that usually with highlight, I don't wet down my brush like what I would do with a foil shade or a multi-chrome shade. This is straight onto the brush, and this is one of the shades that I had to repress as well. So keep that in mind. This is performing absolutely stunning for me having to repress it. I don't see any issues with the quality at all. Look at my skin. It looks wet. That looks like a wet highlight. Wow. And it's shifting from a green to a pink to a yellow. But my skin looks wet. I could definitely go overboard with this highlighter palette. I could totally go overboard with this highlighter palette because that just speaks to me. And now let's play with this one, the Sea Witch palette. This is 12 shades. It comes with a full-size mirror, and it's more of a siren song, mermaid themed eyeshadow palette, hence why it's called Sea Witch. You guys can see some of the shades in here. There's a lot of duochromes, multi-chromes. We also have matte formulas, which I know in my initial Electrum Cosmetics video, I was like, I can't wait to get this palette because she typically doesn't make matte shadow formulas, and this one has matte shadows in it, and I can't wait to put these on my lid. I did play with some of them yesterday. I do have a shorts video coming of just that simple eyeshadow tutorial. I used Orpheus, Siren Song, and some other shades on my lids. But today I think I'm going to do something a little bit more blue, something more mermaidy, more siren-y. I did use also Hera yesterday, which this shade is just, I can't even explain it. It's just such a beautiful multi-chrome shade, and it went on absolutely stunning. But today we're going to try some of the Sea Witch. We're going to use the first shade that I really want to use. Is called Sea Witch, and it is a teal green shade. And I'm Expelliarmus. I'm using a tapered, it's a Sigma Beauty E40 tapered blending brush. You know, And we're going to use this to put Sea Witch all over like the crease. I love this brush for the crease. I think it's just such a great brush. We're going to make sure that like my lids, yes, they are primed and ready to go, but we don't want any creases in there. We don't want creases. So we're taking Sea Witch, which is a turquoisey shade. I'm applying this in the crease. We'll see how this goes because typically I'm not a colored shadow person. I do tend to play with like purples quite a bit because purples can be more leaning and neutral. We're gonna try and attempt a look today with some blue and green and purple and multi-chromes, and we're going to try it today. And in between shadows, if I'm using the same brush, I'm using my mini Sigma switch because that is like the best way to be able to switch my shadows without like cleaning a brush. That went on really beautifully. I'm not mad about that at all. I think it went on great. I'm going to use my Singe EO2 brush. We are going to use a purple. I know, but we're using the purple. We're using Siren Song. So first we used Sea Witch, now we're using Siren Song. And you actually have another shade in here called Odyssey, which that is definitely reminiscent of like sirens as well. And a sea witch is a siren. There is a lot of mythology, a lot of stories, a lot of lore behind sea witches, behind sirens, behind mermaids, and it's really interesting to learn. Okay, look how nice that purple blended out. Like just like a dream. It went on my lids just so beautifully. I didn't struggle with blending it at all, and it literally just went on my lids just so beautifully, and it blended out into the other shade without losing any of that like purple pack and purple punch. Yes, we'll fix some of the you know, some of the edges. The edges. And now I'm going to use some of these duochrome shades, the multi-chrome shades, and into the theme of the palette, we are going to use Siren, which is this shade right here. It shifts from a blue to a purple to a green to a pinkish color. Definitely one of the multi-chromes in the palette, and it is stunning. I'm really excited. I need to find my... I am going to wet down my brush. This is like my go-to spray right now for wetting down my brush. It's the e.l.f. Glow Dewy Mist with coconut and argan oil, and it really just has a little extra moistness to it to pick up shades like this. We're using a Singe Beauty EO1, and we're going to use Siren. I'm putting that on my lid. It's just getting smeared. And when I use these shadows, oh my goodness! Hello! And I shouldn't be surprised. I've used these shades before, but this is just stunning. There's just a little bit of fallout that I am getting with this one. This one's more of a flaky material. Like, it's a little flaky, but that's okay because it's gorgeous. Stop what you are doing and just pause this video right on this eyeshadow. Like, do it. Just pause it and look. It's gorgeous. Like I said, it's a little bit chunky, it's a little bit flaky, but it is beautiful. It is an absolutely stunning shade. I think it pretty impressive that I can put these multi-chrome and dual-chrome shades on by just simply wetting my brush instead of having to use my finger or, you know, something else. And they're just so pigmented and pretty. So I am going to wet down my brush again. Just a little bit. We're using the EO1 and we used my Sigma switch, and I am going to use Persephone. This is like a iridescent, like white to purple to blue. Very, very beautiful. It reminds me of snow, and I'm actually just going to pop this right on the inner corner to give it... Wow. Look at that. That is amazing. It has like a blue-green shift to it. And that literally looks electric. Electric. If I could do like the entire under eye with that shade, I'm getting an idea. Getting an idea. We're gonna do it because we can. Makeup has no limits, right? So I'm gonna wet down my EO4 from Singe just with my glowy mist from e.l.f. and we are gonna use Persephone. We're going to put it on my lower lash line. We're going to take it to about the middle, and then, so we're going to stamp this in. because if you brush it, it'll just like wipe away that pigment. But if you stamp it in, hello there. And then we will take this brush, clean it off, and use a different shade for the outer portion of my lower lash line. So like my eyes look like they have like an eyeliner underneath them. That's gorgeous. We are going to wet down the brush one more time, and we are going to use on the outer portion of the eye. This is called Lorelei, and this is almost looking like a gritty formula, gritty. So we're taking Lorelei and we are stamping this on the outer lower lash line. I kind of look like a fairy. I look like a fairy. I'm just going to take my beauty blender that I used for my foundation. And lately, this is what I've been doing to kind of like clean up any fallout because it picks it up without disturbing the foundation. And then it also helps create that clean line. This is the eyeshadow before we put on mascara. So I'm going to pop on mascara, pop on my brows, do my Medusa hair. Medusa has been tamed. This is what she looks like. Medusa is up in a, because it's 90 degrees outside, it's humid, and Medusa likes to do things that she's not supposed to do. So, Medusa's under control today. But this is what the makeup looks like, and I can't get enough of how reflective my eyeshadow is. I can't get enough of how wet my skin looks. And then also like underneath, the eyeshadow just looks so, so beautiful. That is using, again, the Electrum Cosmetics Sea Witch palette. And then we also have the Daydreamer highlighter palette from Electrum Cosmetics. This is what I used for my highlight today, and it is stunning. Hopefully there's another release that is done, another pre-order from Electrum Cosmetics, but these are just absolutely stunning, insane quality and pigment, glide on the eyes like butter. Like, it's just super easy to blend out and absolutely stunning. So thanks guys so much for watching this video. If you guys want to see more indie makeup content, leave me a comment down below, and I hope I get to see you in the next video. Subscribe!